Hey guys, Professor Kevin in his car.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's been a few weeks and I apologize for that, but we are back in the car. Pastor Kevin's back. All right. If you don't know that, from the 90s, early 2000s maybe, get your boy band knowledge together and see where that came from. So, we are in chapter 11 of Hebrews. And if you forgot what that's about, we're talking about faith. Faith being the assurance of things we hope for. We've talked about how we have faith, and maybe sometimes it's about things, maybe, trusting God in ways, believing who he says he is, even if we're not able to see him at times or we're not sure. So having that faith. But verse 2 of chapter 11 says, well, what does that mean? They gained approval. They had faith in God. Well, what is approval? That's being kind of like a check mark, like, yes, for sure, that's okay. If I said to you, hey, I would like to have chocolate ice cream, and you said, oh, I don't really like chocolate. I like, vanilla, or I like strawberry, or chocolate's okay. I'm looking for your approval. If I also go to someone who may be, like a teacher or my parents or a guardian, and I say, hey, I'd like to, maybe borrow the car and go to see a movie. Of course, not right now, because you're going to watch a movie at your house, because you are in quarantine. And let me tell you, as a teen, that's probably something you're going to hear after quarantine's over. You may hear the phrase,
oh, quarantine may be over, but that doesn't mean I can't quarantine you.
And I might use that as a parent. But anyway, that's beside the point. But what you're looking for is approval. That yes, that affirmed yes, that's okay. So what this saying is, the men and women of old gained approval by their faith. Well, what does that mean? Let's look at verse number 4. Well, if we go to Genesis 4, we read about Cain and Abel. Abel gave the first of his livestock. He was a shepherd. He handled livestock. Cain was a farmer, as we understand it. So what happened is they both gave God something. They both gave to God because of their faith. So what the key here is action. Faith, we can believe something. We can have the idea. If you remember when I was talking about my car, I can have faith that this seatbelt works. But until I put it on and actually do something, then I'm just saying, oh yeah, okay, well I believe that. There are a lot of things we can have faith in and we never do anything about. When you have faith in God, you actually need to respond. There's a response action that shows or says, I have faith in you, God. I have faith in who you are. So in Genesis 4, and if you don't know the story of Cain and Abel, go to Genesis 4. Actually start at Genesis 1 and read through to Genesis 4. It's an intense story. We have these two brothers who are born, Cain and Abel. And what it says is, whenever Eve gave birth to Cain, that's the firstborn, and then Abel, what happens is they both give an offering to the Lord. Abel gives what is considered the best of what he has. And then Cain gives an offering, but then it says Cain gets frustrated about it. And I'm sure we've had this before. Maybe you have a sibling and your sibling does the best and gives the best and does what they need to. And maybe sometimes, being a sibling, sometimes I might have been like, oh, well, I'll get it done. There's a difference in responding to something. So let's say that your parent or guardian says, that they need you to straighten up your room. And where I'm from in southwestern Pennsylvania, that was red up. You need to red up your room. You need to straighten this thing up. It's getting out of control. Well, there would be a difference in me going in and just taking some stuff that's already a mess and shoving it into another messy place, or actually going through it and doing what I need to. Well, when they give their offering to God, Abel gives the best. He takes what he has, and that's faith. And it says that it's credited him as faith because he believes that God will respond to that, and he's responding to God. If God is the ultimate supreme being whom we worship and we love, then we should want to give God our best. And that's what it says. Cain in Genesis 4, it says he gets upset, and God kind of says, hey, Cain, why are you upset? Like, you could fix this. So I want to encourage you also. So 2 things here. First, in response to faith, we need to have action. James is clear about that. The Bible is clear about that. If we say we have faith, we need to do something with that faith. And one of those is to decide, because it's always a decision. It's a choice. We have to decide we are going to respond to God like he is the God we believe he is. And then we have to also, as it says in Hebrews 11, and this is interesting, in verse number 6, and I'm skipping over verse number 5. We'll talk about that one next week, because Enoch, I mean, that's just a mind boggler, but we'll talk about it next week. But verse 6, and we're going to come back to this next week, says, without faith, it is impossible to please him, which means, okay, so I believe in God, I trust God, I love God, and then I do something. If you want to please someone, you actually have to do something. You can't just, like, I can't just say to my kids, hey kids, I really love you, and then never do anything. You have to actually do something. So that we believe that it is impossible without faith to please God. For he who comes to God must believe that he is. So there's a belief right there. We believe he is. We believe he exists. We trust him. So then we're going to respond to that. We're going to do something. And then it says, and he who must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of those who seek him. So God will reward us for seeking him. And you know what? Some people are like, well, you know, I don't know if I do it for a reward, what's the point? No, God will reward us for being faithful. And that's what we see with Cain and Abel. Abel, we still speak of Abel. We still think of what he did. We still know the story of Cain and Abel. And we know that Abel gave the best of what he had. And that was pleasing to God. And as a result, God responded. So practically, what are these 2 things? Well, one, we need to take an action. So maybe this week, your faith, your action, maybe you say, well, I don't know, what does it look like for me to sacrifice something to God? How do I give him my best? Well, here are a couple things you could do. Start your day with thanksgiving in prayer. Before you get out of bed, before you pick up your phone or check your notifications or see who's doing what or play the video game or anything, before you pick up your phone, put God first. That's a choice. That's an action that we can both do, that I can do, that you can do. That's saying, God, I trust you. I believe you. I'm not going to wait until, later. Now, I'm not saying you got to lay in your bed and do a full-scale devotional. What I'm saying is start your day with thanksgiving. Maybe you are not a morning person and your devotion time is better in the afternoon or the evening. That's fine. What I'm saying, though, is if you start your day and say, God, I thank you for today. Thank you for breath. Thank you for life. That's saying, God, I'm going to put you first. Another thing you can do is look around where you live, meaning your house, your apartment, wherever you may be staying, and think, what can I do to help here? How can I serve others to show that I love God because God wants me to serve people? See, that's responding. The other thing you can do is look around you, and maybe there is something small you can do. Maybe you notice a neighbor needs their grass cut, and it's been a little while, and you just take the mower and you pop over and you cut the grass. You don't expect anything. You just say, you know what? I just want to show you the love of God. God sees that and knows that. And what that does is it says, God, I believe that you exist, but I want to respond to that. And that's really what this is about. It's responding. And if you're struggling, the second thing about this is that I want to encourage you. Maybe you feel a bit like Cain sometimes, where you just think, I give God whatever time I have, or I give him kind of that spare parts, the spare time. God says, I want you to give me the best and I love you. So if you're listening to this and you think, I've kind of been a bit more like Cain, I've just kind of given him the scraps, the extra, the whatever. God says, you know what? I'll forgive you of that. I love you. I want you to be the best you can be, and I want to give you the best I can give you. So just a quick recap. 1, faith, we know we have to believe God and trust God, and then we respond to that, and we make a decision, make a choice, we respond and we act, and we give God our best. Maybe our best is that, we finish the school year strong. It's an odd school year. It's kind of weird, but we finish it strong. We turn everything in on time. We do it before our parents have to tell us and pull us through it. Those types of things. And maybe we just say, you know what, God, I want to dedicate some time to you. I'm going to set aside a time, because at the end of the day, it is a choice that you and I make. Cain and Abel both made choices. And ultimately, Cain's choice was to kill his brother. He went down a bad road, and that can happen. He believed God. He knew who God was, yet he still made that choice. So, make the great choice this week. We'll be back next week talking about Enoch. Which is just, I'm excited because that's some crazy Bible stuff in a good way. So we're praying for you this week. Please let us know if you need anything. We love you. We miss you all. And we hope and pray that you're having a great week. And my car, if you've noticed every once in a while, like a little shake and shimmy, the wind is blowing my car around a little bit. I'm safe. I'm okay. It's not like a Wizard of Oz moment. I'm not going to get lifted up that I know of. But my car's a little light. So the wind kind of, can get in there and punch it around a little bit. Maybe like but I'm okay. I have faith in it. I'm going to believe that it'll stay here. So we hope you have a great week. We miss you guys. Faith, also, it's a belief, but it takes action. Make those choices this week.
Hello, it's Pastor Kevin. Out. You better work.
Because you are in quarantine.
Oh, quarantine may be over, but that doesn't mean I can't quarantine you.
Because you are in quarantine.
Oh yeah, okay, well I believe that.
Because you are in quarantine. Enoch. Before you pick up your phone, Enoch. Because you are in quarantine. Get in there and punch it around a little bit. Maybe like a, Enoch.
Oh, quarantine may be over, but that doesn't mean I can't quarantine you.